5 worst countries to be a Muslim. Being a Muslim in some parts of the world can be a daily struggle, where your faith alone becomes a reason for persecution, discrimination, and in some cases, survival. Today, we delve into the 5 worst countries to be a Muslim, where the challenges are not only institutional, but deeply ingrained in societal attitudes. 1. Ethiopia. Ethiopia, often hailed as the cradle of civilization and one of the oldest Christian nations, harbors a Muslim community that faces relentless challenges. Despite being home to the 3rd largest Muslim population in Africa, Muslims in Ethiopia are often treated as outsiders in their own country. The government views the Muslim population through a lens of suspicion, labeling them as foreign agents influenced by neighboring Muslim-majority nations like Somalia and Sudan. This paranoia results in severe restrictions on religious practices. Muslims are denied the freedom to openly pray or wear the hijab. Control of Muslim organizations. Only one legal Muslim organization is allowed, and it operates under the tight grip of the government, serving more as a tool of state control than a religious body. Limited educational access. Teachers of Arabic or Islamic studies are frequently expelled from schools, further marginalizing the community. For a nation where Islam has been present since the 7th century, these oppressive measures have reduced the Muslim population to second-class citizens, struggling to preserve their identity. 2. Myanmar. Myanmar, with its majority Theravada Buddhist population, 90%, has long been a hostile environment for religious minorities. But the plight of Muslims, particularly the Rohingya, stands out as one of the most horrific examples of modern-day persecution. Ethnic cleansing campaigns. Since 2017, over 800,000 Rohingya Muslims have been displaced, driven from their homes in acts of organized violence. Villages were torched, families separated, and at least 25,000 lives lost. The government calls this a clearance operation, but the world knows it as genocide. Citizenship denied. Despite living in Myanmar for generations, the Rohingya are not recognized as citizens, effectively rendering them stateless. Religious restrictions. Muslims are banned from proselytizing, denied building permits for mosques, and face immense pressure to convert to Buddhism. The international community has condemned Myanmar's treatment of the Rohingya, but the persecution continues, fueled by nationalist rhetoric and deeply rooted prejudice. 3. China. China's treatment of Muslims is a stark reminder of the lengths an authoritarian regime can go to suppress minority populations. While the world is familiar with the atrocities in Xinjiang, the discrimination extends to other Muslim communities across China. Xinjiang and the Uyghurs. The Uyghur population, native to Xinjiang, has faced nothing short of a cultural genocide. Since 2017, over 16,000 mosques, 65% of the region's total, have been destroyed or damaged. Uyghurs are forced into re-education camps, where they are subjected to torture, indoctrination, and even used as slave labor. Islamic practices are banned. Beards, headscarves, and even fasting during Ramadan are forbidden. Hainan and the Uyghur Muslims. The Uyghur Muslims, a small community of around 10,000, face similar restrictions. Traditional Islamic dress is banned, and even the words halal or Islamic cannot be displayed publicly. China's policies aim to erase the Islamic identity altogether, replacing it with loyalty to the state and its ideology, leaving millions of Muslims struggling to preserve their faith. 4. India. India, a nation that prides itself on diversity, is witnessing a troubling rise in Hindu nationalism, where the country's 200 million Muslims often bear the brunt of communal violence. Communal riots. In clashes between Hindus and Muslims, it is invariably Muslims who suffer the most, with homes and businesses destroyed and lives lost. Government complicity. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the ruling BJP has stoked Hindu nationalist sentiments. Inflammatory speeches by government officials have fueled mob violence, while authorities often turn a blind eye. Second-class citizens. The rising influence of Hindutva ideology seeks to redefine India as a Hindu nation, treating non-Hindus as outsiders. Muslims face restrictions in jobs, education, and even dietary practices, with beef bans targeting their community specifically. Modi's justice minister once chillingly declared, Tolerant Muslims can be counted on fingers. Their numbers are not even in thousands. Such rhetoric has normalized discrimination, pushing India's Muslims further to the margins. 5. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, a country still healing from decades of civil war, is now grappling with a rise in Sinhala Buddhist nationalism, where Muslims are increasingly scapegoated. Moral policing. Hardline Buddhist groups organize raids against Muslims,